On December 27, 1892, Livingstone and Biddle College, now known as Johnson C. Smith University, played in Salisbury, North Carolina, with Biddle winning 5-0. Over time, HBCU football has evolved. HBCU football's popularity continues to rise. Millions attend games each year and millions more watch on television. The HBCU bands provide some of the top entertainment in the country. Over that time, some of the best players to ever play in the National Football League played at HBCUs. Every Monday through Friday on the HBCU Football Daily Podcast, national radio and television host Donal Ware takes a look at what's happening in HBCU football and talks with coaches, players, administrators, and media about the season. Make sure you join the conversation on social media now. Here's your host, Donal Ware.
You've got it locked to the HBCU Football Daily Podcast for today, Tuesday, September 19th. I'm Donal Ware. It's Takeaway Tuesday here on the HBCU Football Daily Podcast. A couple of house cleaning items before we get to some of the takeaways from week 3. The HBCU football coaches and media polls were released on yesterday. This typically doesn't happen, but right now the media says, the coaches say that North Carolina Central is number 1, and the media says that Florida A&M is number 1. Now, obviously, you look at North Carolina Central with its loss to UCLA, it was playing up. And I think, the coaches, I think when you look at the coaches know that it's very difficult to win football games. And so the coaches, I believe, take that into consideration. The media knows that, and this is just my opinion, that the Eagles are playing up as well. But sometimes, if you decide to play these games, they'll still say, well, they may not hold it against you as much, but still, obviously, because, if you look at the media poll, 11 of the 21 first place votes or 22 first place votes went to North Carolina Central. Points wise, Florida A&M received more points. And by the way, Florida A&M did receive 8 first place votes as well. On the coaches' side, the Eagles received 13 first place votes, and Florida A&M received 5 first place votes. So in the coaches poll, NCCU number 1, FAMU number 2, Jackson State, even though it lost, it played up. The Texas State lost, doesn't move, stays at number 3. Tennessee State made a significant jump from number 9 last week to number 4. Big win. I don't think we're talking about that enough. That was a huge win, I think, by Tennessee State over Gardner-Webb in the manner in which Tennessee State won as well, which really could be one of my takeaways also was I thought that was a tremendous and a huge win by Tennessee State. The thing is now, though, where do you go from here? How do you, take a win like that and really kind of keep things going? And that's really what I'm interested in seeing from this football program. Okay, great win. Okay, excellent win. Now you've got to kind of pick that up and, keep things going. If you're Tennessee State, you got to kind of keep things going. I believe Tennessee State has a bye week, and it does, as I looked at it right here. So Tennessee State actually has a bye week. So maybe a chance to correct some things, even from the Gardner-Webb game. I think Gardner-Webb's a good program. It's a program that won the Big South last year, where you have A&T and Hampton. A&T was in the Big South on last year, and so I think that's a big win. Again, Tennessee State 4, Hampton 5. Big win. That's going to be one of my takeaways from Howard. Hampton wasn't even ranked in the poll or the top 10 on last week. 6 through 10, Prairie View A&M, Howard, Morgan State, Alcorn State, and Alabama State. In the media poll, again, Florida A&M number 1, outdistanced or outpointed, if you will, North Carolina Central by 5 points. The Eagles, number 2, followed by Benedict, who received 2 first place votes. And number 3, Benedict has only given up 7 points all season, followed by Virginia Union at number 4. Virginia Union and Jackson State actually flip-flop positions from last week. And Jackson State is number 5. 6 through 10 looks like this: Tuskegee, Virginia State, Morgan State, Hampton, and Prairie View A&M. Surprisingly, Tennessee State is not in the media poll. That is very, very surprising, especially with the win that Tennessee State got. The HBCU National Players of the Week: Hampton running back Elijah Burris, 6 carries, 111 yards, 1 touchdown. He had the big 93-yard touchdown scamper in the third quarter. I think that is what, even though Howard I think it may have been the next possession, got a field goal. Howard only got 2 field goals in the fourth quarter. I think that touchdown run especially gave the offense of Hampton a lot of momentum, because remember, Hampton was down 14 in the fourth and ended up winning that football game. And then also David Wright, the quarterback for Allen, a phenomenal game, completed 30 of 53 passes, 411 yards. He had 5 touchdowns. Allen is 3-0 on the season, and it was a huge, huge win for the Yellow Jackets, coming from behind, because 4 straight scoring plays for Allen to come back to complete the win, all touchdown passes by David Wright. So it was absolutely tremendous. So let's get to the takeaways. One of my takeaways is, you still, even though North Carolina Central lost, and even though Miles lost by 1 point to Arkansas Pine Bluff, and again, Miles is playing on the road, you still have quite a few undefeated teams in HBCU football. You have Benedict, Virginia Union, Tuskegee, and Virginia State, and Allen are all undefeated. So 5 teams are undefeated in HBCU football as we're in week 3 plus an opening week. I mean, I think that is of great significance at this moment in the season. Okay, so that's one of my takeaways. One of my other takeaways: if you're Howard, it's a bad loss. If you're Hampton, it's a great win. If Hampton had lost that football game, this is the thing about the win by Hampton, and to me, why it's so significant. And then the loss for Howard, I mean, it's just not a good loss. I mean, from a significance standpoint, I mean, it's not the greatest. You want to win every game, and you have a fourth quarter lead, you want to lose. But at the end of the day, for Howard is in the MEAC. For neither team, it was a MEAC game, but Howard's going to win some more games along the way. It's not to say Hampton won't, but Hampton's got a bye week, then plays Richmond, plays Campbell, who is playing very well, plays Monmouth, plays Delaware, A&T, Maine, William and Mary, and Elon. That's a tough schedule. That's an extremely tough CAA schedule. So it's a big win momentum-wise, plus a bye week. Clean up some stuff. Why did you get down by 14? Why were you down the entire game and then down 14 in the fourth? Clean that up and then go your next meeting against Richmond, which is going to be a tough game. A significant win, solid quarterback play. Enough, efficient. Let your running game do the rest of the work. Hampton ran the football extremely well. Also, Hampton's got to clean up that, because Howard ran the ball extremely well as well. So Hampton's got to clean that up. Hampton's got to be able to clamp down and stop the run. So a significant win for Hampton. You come from behind. You're 2-1 now, with conference play looming and a very, very tough schedule. I think there are 4 or 5 CAA teams right now that are ranked in the top 25 in the FCS poll. So that's a significant win again for Howard. You got to get it right. Like the battle for HU. It's just a football game that you can't afford to lose. And by the way, I'm seeing a lot of teams are having byes this upcoming weekend. Quite a few teams, as a matter of fact. And again, Howard a lot to clean up before it takes on Robert Morris in Pittsburgh, or in the Pittsburgh area, in 2 weeks. So that's another one of my takeaways. Mississippi Valley State, tough going. 35-7 loss to Delta State. I get it. But Mississippi Valley State hasn't really been good, probably, since it let Willie Totten go. Boy, was this the latter part of the 2000s, maybe 09, 08, maybe, again, the latter part of the 2000s. Mississippi Valley State has not really been good since then. Now, there was a year or two under Carl Morgan where they may have won 5 games, but this has been a Mississippi Valley State program that has really, really struggled. The other thing is this is the same Mississippi Valley State program that produced Willie Satellite Totten, the aforementioned, Jerry Rice, Sam Washington, former head coach of North Carolina A&T, Vincent Brown, current head coach of North Carolina A&T, Archie Cooley. Like, this is, and I get it. That was sort of back in the day when a lot of times it's a smaller area. Kids, a lot of times you go to those areas, you focus on football, you focus on those academics, keep all of that other stuff for the most part out of the way. Kids want to do a lot more now, and maybe Ada Bena doesn't provide that as a small town. I think Greenwood is not terribly far, but again, it's another small town in Mississippi. But I'm just wondering, and again, new coach, right? So, he has to have an opportunity to kind of come in and, sort of really get things right there at Mississippi Valley State. And so we'll see ultimately how things really play out there, but it's tough. It's tough there at Mississippi Valley State, especially when you think about the history of Mississippi Valley State, and to have to go to Delta State and lose at a Division II program. Wow, I hope he's getting the resources that he needs to be able to put together a successful football program. And it doesn't get any easier because Valley's got to go out to Indianapolis and take on the defending HBCU champs in North Carolina Central, who's coming off of a loss. That leads me to my next takeaway. No problem for me with the Eagles going out to UCLA, playing in that game, getting the $700,000 payday. You got to be able to fund your program, and it helps to fund some of the other programs with respect to athletics. And I always have liked the way that NCCU has operated its athletics program. You look at, since NCCU has come into Division I don't believe North Carolina Central has had, I could be wrong, but a single APR incident. Okay. They do things the right way there. And Skip Perkins, now the athletics director. But you look at Ingrid Wicker-McCree, you look at Bill Hayes prior to Ingrid Wicker-McCree, doing things the right way. So no problems there. But you come out of that with your star quarterback injured. All the reports I've read, he's injured. I don't know how severe the injury is, but that's significant because, maybe not as significant this week. Again, when you're playing, you don't take any opponent lightly. But the fact of the matter is, Mississippi Valley State is not a good football team, okay, right now. So I think the Eagles can go out there, get a win, even if Davius Richard doesn't play. But I like the fact that they went with him. You could have said, well, maybe shut him down because you want to make sure you're fresh for conference play, and he's good to go. But he's been a significant part of this program for 4 years now, and he needs an opportunity to show what he can do against a top 25 opponent in the FPS, a Power 5 opponent. And sometimes things like this are going to happen. In football, injuries are going to happen. It is a significant injury. Let me back up. I don't know if the injury in of itself is significant, but it's significant that he is injured or gets injured in that game. No problem, play him, let him show what he can do. I don't know if he had, the numbers would indicate that, it wasn't a great outing, the small amount of time that he was in there, but I don't know. Did he, you have to dive more into the numbers, and I didn't see the game, so I don't know. Somebody want to enlighten me on how he looked in that football game. By all means, you can do that, but I hope that he is not injured enough where it's going to keep him out for a significant amount of time. And again, for MEAC play, he's got some time. Okay, he's got some time until the MEAC season starts for North Carolina Central. So that's another one of my takeaways also. So those are some of my takeaways. Give me your thoughts. Hit me up via Twitter at Box2Row, BOXTOROW, or on my personal Twitter account at DWare1. Don't forget to tell a couple of friends about the HBCU Football Daily Podcast, where you can, of course, watch on the Box2Row YouTube channel. You can also listen at box2row.com, as well as iHeartMedia.com. Really tell someone about this podcast. We got you covered when it comes to HBCU football. Have a great day.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the HBCU Football Daily Podcast. You can also listen to the podcast at box2row.com, iHeartMedia, or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget to get your HBCU football fix on Box2Row with Donal Ware each weekend on the radio station near you, and on SiriusXM on HBCU, Channel 142, and on ESPNU Radio on SiriusXM, Channel 84. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Box2Row for the latest in HBCU football, and don't forget to tell a friend.